January 2018, a rum company hands over $5.1 billion, that's billion with a B, for a $40 bottle of tequila, the largest tequila deal in history, and within 6 years, that same bottle is bleeding out on the floor. Volume down, market share gone, export certificate revoked by its own home country, and the brand that used to own the entire category now running desperate billboard campaigns with blacked out text begging people to care again. This is not a comeback story. This is what happens when a corporation buys a myth and then slowly suffocates it. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how Patron went from untouchable to irrelevant, and what it tells us about every premium brand you've ever trusted. Let's rewind. Imagine it's 1989. Walk into any American liquor store. The tequila shelf looks like this: harsh, cheap, industrial. Nothing above $5. The whole category screams bad decisions and worse mornings. Nobody is ordering tequila to feel sophisticated. Nobody. Tequila is a joke, and that is exactly the crack in the market that one man decides to walk through. His name is John Paul DeJoria. You may know him from Paul Mitchell Hair Products. He built that company from a $700 loan while sleeping in his car. And in 1989, a friend brings him a hand-blown bottle of artisanal Mexican tequila, and something clicks. Not because the liquid is magic, because the perception of tequila has nowhere to go but up. DeJoria doesn't enter the tequila business. He enters the perception business. And there's a crucial difference. Here's the playbook he runs. Price it at $37, call it $40 on the street, when everything else is under $5. Wrap it in a hand-numbered label. Stuff it in a gift box. Call it the world's greatest spirit, not tequila. Instantly, just by existing at that price point, Patron announces itself as something different, something expensive, something that belongs on a dinner table next to a Michelin-starred meal, not in a plastic cup at a frat party. But here's what almost nobody talks about. DeJoria doesn't distill a single drop himself. He finds a family operation, Siete Laguas, running since 1952 in Jalisco, Mexico, and outsources every bottle to them. The heritage isn't his, the craft isn't his, the agave sourcing, the Tahona wheel, the decades of knowledge, all Siete Laguas. Patron is, at its core, a marketing wrapper around someone else's tequila. File that away, it becomes important. By 2001, Patron is moving 120,000 cases a year. Celebrities are calling in personal orders. Hip-hop is about to put Patron in over 400 songs. Jay-Z, Lil Jon, The Weeknd, none of them paid. By 2010, they hit almost 2 million cases. They own 68% of the ultra-premium tequila category. Nobody touches them. And then, Bacardi writes the check. $5.1 billion. January 2018. The deal closes. And right here, right at this moment, is where the killing starts. Not loudly, quietly, the way you suffocate something. Slowly, with a corporate hand over its face. See, Patron's entire value was built on one thing: the feeling of exclusivity. It felt like a secret, something you discovered, something that existed outside the system. The moment a giant corporation absorbs it into a portfolio of 200 brands, that feeling starts dying. You can't manufacture rebellion at scale. You can't factory produce the idea that you're drinking something rare. But Bacardi tries anyway, and this is where the cracks appear. Craft cocktail culture explodes in the early 2020s. A new type of drinker shows up at bars. This consumer does research. They read Reddit threads about agave sourcing. They know what additive-free means. They can tell the difference between a brand with real heritage and a brand with a great PR budget. And when they start asking questions about Patron, what's actually in the bottle, who actually makes it, what happened to the original distillery, the answers aren't great. The insiders have known for years. Siete Leguas and Patron parted ways. The liquid changed, the knowledge left, but the premium price tag stayed. For the educated consumer, the math stops working. Enter the wolves. Don Julio, owned by Diageo. Real heritage, real Jalisco roots, generational distilling knowledge. By 2023, Don Julio overtakes Patron. 4 million cases to Patron's 2.8 million. That's not a gap, that's a statement. Then comes Casamigos, then Fortaleza, Then Casa Azul pushing the ultra-luxury tier even harder, each one peeling away a layer of Patron's story. Because once consumers have an alternative that actually lives up to the premium promise, the original starts looking like a costume. And Patron is losing the costume contest. Volume drops 8% in 2023, then another 11.8% in 2024. Meanwhile, the overall tequila market, growing. Every other major brand, growing. This is not a category problem. This is a Patron problem. Bacardi, which paid $5.1 billion specifically to be the dominant force in super premium tequila, now watches its crown jewel shrink while the category booms around it. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Bacardi didn't buy a distillery. They bought a belief system, and belief systems are fragile. You can't put them on a spreadsheet. You can't optimize them with a quarterly earnings call. The second you start running a myth like a machine, the myth breaks. And then comes the final humiliation. February 2025. Patron's marketing team launches a campaign. They want to lean into something the new craft consumer actually cares about. The fact that Patron contains no additives, no artificial sweeteners, no glycerin, no vanilla, all of which are technically legal in tequila production and used widely to smooth out inferior batches. This is a real, verifiable advantage. 3 ingredients: agave, water, yeast. Patron wants to shout it from the rooftops. Mexico's Tequila Regulatory Council, the CRT, the official government body that oversees the entire industry, says no. They revoke Patron's export certificate. 4 days, no exports, globally, gone, just like that. Why? Because the CRT has a policy. No brand can independently market itself as additive-free. That certification doesn't officially exist in their rulebook. Bacardi pushes back. The CRT doesn't blink. Bacardi quietly removes the words additive-free from the Patron website. The export ban lifts, and Patron is left standing there, holding the one argument that might have saved them, and they're not allowed to use it. Think about that. Patron tried to compete on truth, and truth got banned. So they pivot to something almost poetic in its desperation. The Censored Truth campaign. Blacked out billboards, TV ads with audio bleeped mid-sentence. The regulatory silence becomes the message. It's creative, it's clever, but from the outside, when your volumes are falling, your competitors are surging, and your home country's regulator just pulled your export license, blacked out billboards look less like rebellion and more like the last move before the lights go out. This is how you kill a brand. You pay a fortune for something built on intangible magic. You run it through a corporate optimization machine. You miss the culture shift happening right underneath you. You watch competitors with real heritage eat your lunch. And then, when you finally try to fight back with your one genuine advantage, the system, the very system you thought you were part of, shuts you down. The brand on your thumbnail isn't a victim of bad luck. It's a victim of its own architecture. Patron was always a story, not a substance. Stories can survive, but only if someone keeps telling them with conviction. The moment that conviction gets replaced by margin targets, the story collapses. And the consumers who were never fully convinced, they find someone else to believe in. Patron isn't dead yet. It's still the second largest tequila brand in the world by volume, but the trajectory is undeniable. The gap to Don Julio widens every year. The craft insurgents pick off the premium tier from below. And the number 2 spot, once you're no longer first, is just the slowest way to fall. Maybe the real lesson here isn't about tequila at all. It's about what happens when a corporation mistakes the price tag for the product, when a boardroom mistakes a belief for a balance sheet item, because whatever is in that bottle, that's not what you were buying. You were buying the feeling, and the feeling, unlike the bottle, cannot be manufactured at scale. The next brand you're paying a premium for, ask yourself, are you buying the liquid or the story? Because if it's the story, the only question that matters is, who's still left to tell it? If you want to see another case of a billion-dollar brand that destroyed itself from the inside out, the next video is already waiting for you.